Previously on Ace Attorney. You'd better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Yes, of course. I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. All evidence to the contrary, given how much perjury happens in this court, and we just let the people waltz right out and participate in investigations later on. Anyway. Hello, I'm Unca Crunk. Welcome back to Ace Attorney, and hopefully the conclusion of the trial of Damien Tenma. And Tenma is testifying now. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortal, for hear them but once you shall. Caw, 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 caw. Witness testimony. The ruler of demonkind. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly 2 yokai did appear. Wait, what? 2? On one side I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. What? The nine-tailed fox was there? So it's the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes, indeed, all was in darkness. And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there? Yes, that too. Tenma Taro towered overhead and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. I call animal abuse, Your Honor. It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted. Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy. As if half dreamt, that happening lingers in his mind. Apollo, maybe I can help here. Really? Oh, you mean... Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event. Okay, I just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us. Again. Here we go. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly 2 yokai did appear. On one side I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. Okay, why is he happy about that? Got it! When the nine-tailed fox appeared, you not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well. Joy? Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking did pierce the silence. And then there was light. The what now? On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket. A creaking door? Oh, the forbidden chamber creaks. Yeah, you must be talking about the forbidden chamber door. It does make a lot of noise. So this means the forbidden chamber really was opened. But what about the sudden light he described? I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tenma Taro towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the fox chamber at the time of the crime. What? Excuse... How? Mr. Mayor, did the darkness say... What that? Mr. Mayor, did the darkness that you were in happen to be here?
How?
Take that!
The Forbidden Chamber! Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur?
Yes, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. That terrible creaking sound was probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering Temataru you saw? Most likely the Forbidden Chamber statue.
Well, yes! That would explain it! The darkness and the staff in the demon's grasp!
How, though? And when? But even if all that's true, then what about the nine-tailed fox? Maybe he was seeing things? Just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai. Fantastico, Apollo, is entirely possible. In a groggy, dreamlike state, people can misremember things and events.
Misremember, you say? Let me think. I do believe I remember now. That was not the nine-tailed fox. It was the Amazing Nine Tails.
What?
The Amazing Nine Tails? At first, this is but a dream, I thought. Now, however, most clearly do I recall it. 'Twas the Amazing Nine Tails who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door.
What? I'm sorry I asked. The Amazing Nine Tails? But that was the victim, Alderman QB, right? Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Wasn't he trying to keep it sealed? Never mind that, this is completely new information. Let me enter it and run an update.
Barely conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber.
Info update.
Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Temataru loomed overhead. Suddenly, the door did open, and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom.
Info update again.
The Amazing Nine Tails had come to the rescue!
Okay, why are you still sad? I'm not sure about this one.
Got it!
When the Amazing Nine Tails opened the chamber, banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shock and sadness?
Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind, I do recollect something of that nature.
Okay, I guess I was right.
I believe it was the fiendscape of red.
Wait, what?
For when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me.
Red cape?
Apollo, we've reduced the noise level.
Oh, but there's still a little left. Mayor Tenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape?
Why indeed?
What could this mean? I guess this memory is still a little spotty. I know because its latest recollection contradicts the evidence. Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face. Something this obvious could arise when someone is trying to force a fuzzy memory into a definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see. Ow. So it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look out, contradiction, here comes Justice! Okay, I think it's the red cape.
The Amazing Nine Tails had come to the rescue.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a red cape. The tails are the cape.
Objection!
You said the Amazing Nine Tails cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Oh! Was the tail cape covered in blood? Mayor Tenma! Does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red. Not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill my as yet hazy field of view. And I thought to myself, the amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. So you mistook that red something for his cape, huh? Apparently so. And remembering it now brings a great sadness upon me. So the red something probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentioned is what's interfering with his memory. Well, he would have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. What red object could he have seen there that would have been that shocking? I know. Could it have been... Mr. Mayor, was the red thing you saw this? Is it that? What else is there? I mean... It's either that or this. Hang on. Maybe?
Take that!
Something red that could produce a deep sadness. Could it be, Mr. Tenma, that what you saw was the alderman's blood? Blood. Why, yes, it was blood. It's all coming back to me now. It wasn't a red cape that I saw. It was lying behind the amazing Ninetales, the alderman's bloody body. Eek! Okay. That makes sense. Okay then. His noise level is down to 0. I think he's remembering everything now. Does this mean the amazing Ninetales killed Alderman QB? But the Alderman was the amazing Ninetales, so how exactly would that work? Hey, I asked you first.
Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated.
No kidding. True, but at the time of the crime, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence!
Oh, crap.
Boy, don't you think this strange? The little scamp has already confirmed her father to be in the fox chamber. But she said naught about seeing the amazing Ninetales there.
Oh. I got it completely backwards. QB isn't the Ninetail Fox. Tenma is. Heck, you just had to bring that up, didn't you? Jinxie didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then?
Would the defense care to share any theories with the court? Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimony and his daughter's?
I think I can. Yeah, of course I can explain it. Because if we don't, we're in serious trouble.
Not with more of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Dono, I shall have your head if you fail to explain this.
What about a good old-fashioned penalty?
Well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders.
Okay. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber while it was locked. We also know that Mayor Tenma was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. These two facts are crucial to my explanation. So let us consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene, why did Jinxie Tenma see the victim and her father, Mayor Tenma?
A very good question indeed. And I suppose you have an answer for us?
Sadly, you would be supposing wrong. You'd think she could have mistaken LaBelle for the mayor? Well, if she did, then the question is, why did she do that? Because LaBelle was dressed as the Nine-Tailed Fox.
Well, how about that explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. The defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapse there. If she has, in fact, misremembered the event, what could have made her do so?
LaBelle was disguised as Tenma. The figure Ms. Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence!
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
That is a complete impossibility.
See, I told you I knew what you were going to say.
Their faces are utterly unalike. How could you explain that away with a mere disguise? Yes, they do both have incredibly distinctive faces.
Maybe the disguise completely hid his face. I think Jinxie would have mentioned if she couldn't see her father's face.
And if it was that sort of disguise, wouldn't she have removed it?
Oh, right.
Your sword is as dull as your mind, Justice Dono. Shall I show you what a truly sharp blade is capable of?
I think I'll pass. Athena, help. Are you okay, Apollo? I'm not fine, am I?
Well, now that we have that little fairy tale out of the way, your boldness, your verdict, if you will. Mr. Justice, I believe it's time for a verdict if you have no further arguments.
What's even left for me to do? Apollo, remember what Mr. Wright always says? When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down. Turn the case upside down?
He does say that, doesn't he?
But I don't quite see how it applies here.
Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see.
Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it. And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it. A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. He never unmasks himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why the masks are more important to them than life itself.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And what about the fact that it was the amazing Ninetales who opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others. Can these facts turn things around? We got it all backwards. I just said that like 2 minutes ago. Apollo? I think we might have made a huge mistake.
Your boldness, I see no need to further indulge them in their silly little farce. The defense has no proof. They never did and they never will. Then it seems I must announce my verdict.
Objection!
I do have proof.
Do you now? All right, but this better be good, Mr. Justice.
Oh, it will be. We can solve the remaining riddles by turning all of our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie Tenma mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father. Why she couldn't remove the costume or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that will turn the entire premise of this case upside down. This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity.
Take that!
Yeah. What absolute claptrap! Poppycock, balderdash!
We thought the alderman was the Amazing Ninetails and the mayor was Tenma Taro. That's why we believed the mayor killed the alderman in his lust for Ninetails Vale. And it was the basis for the prosecution's entire case against our client. However, we got the whole thing backwards. Mayor Tenma wasn't Tenma Taro at all. He was the Amazing Ninetails.
Excuse me? You'd best explain yourself, Justice Dono, and from where you derived such a far-fetched conclusion.
Jinxie no doubt knew the true identity of the Amazing Ninetails, but she couldn't tell anyone no matter what. That's why she didn't say it was the Amazing Ninetails she saw passed out. Even though, unbeknownst to her, it was really Florent LaBelle in disguise.
Silence.
The accused and that deceitful dandy are utterly dissimilar in physical build and voice. The little scamp would have seen the difference.
Objection!
Remember, Mr. LaBelle has his very own brand of cosmetics. Why couldn't he fake a different build, too? And anyone speaking through a mask would naturally sound different.
Silence.
Why did she not simply pull the mask off?
Objection!
A masked wrestler's disguise is more precious than life itself. I know it sounds silly, but you have to take my word on that. As a huge fan of the Amazing Ninetails, she would never dare unmask him. This case of mistaken identity also explains the riddle of the locked room.
Then by all means, Mr. Justice, answer us for us already.
First, Mr. LaBelle entered the room where the mayor and alderman were talking. I suspect he brought with him coffee laced with some sort of sedative. Once the alderman was out cold, that's when Mr. LaBelle killed him. Next, he took the mayor, who he had also drugged, into the Forbidden Chamber. Then he returned to the Fox Chamber, slipped into some of the mayor's spare clothes, and completed the disguise by donning the Amazing Ninetails mask. With his entire charade in place, Mr. LaBelle then let out a scream. The scream that led Jinxie Tenma to the scene. So then, the person who said I killed Alderman QB was... Yep, that was Florent LaBelle in disguise. The mayor never actually confessed.
Silence.
This is no more than guesswork and speculation. Now stop your jabbering and...
Objection!
No, you twisted samurai! This time you stop your jabbering and let me finish making my damn case! Once Ms. Tenma left the scene, Mr. LaBelle, still wearing the mayor's clothes and mask, opened the Forbidden Chamber so he could drag the mayor back out into the Fox Chamber. Oh, so the Amazing Ninetails the mayor saw was... Right, it was LaBelle opening the Forbidden Chamber. The second time Mr. LaBelle opened the door to the Forbidden Chamber, he happened to catch the thieving Mr. Filch by surprise. Startled, Mr. Filch, in his Tenma Taro disguise, ran as fast as he could away from the room. As he did, he left behind him a trail of feathers and tracks, and gave Ms. Tenma the scare of her life in the hallway. With no one left to witness the events that had occurred, Mr. LaBelle then proceeded to drag the sleeping mayor back into the Fox chamber.
I see. Well, that all certainly does make sense.
Then, after dragging the mayor back into the Fox chamber, Mr. LaBelle threw the mask out the window and fled the room.
Silence.
For this absurd theory to work, it requires that the defendant be the Amazing Ninetales. However, he was the one pushing for the municipal merger. That such an individual could possibly be the Amazing Ninetales is preposterous.
Objection!
The mayor was blackmailed into pursuing the merger. Ms. Tenma's life would have been in danger if he had openly voiced his opposition. That's why he created a secret identity as the Amazing Ninetales.
This is madness! No one could possibly hatch such an insane plot!
No one except a killer as insane as his plot, and I'd say Florent LaBelle more than qualifies.
Foolish mortal! It is at your own peril that you forget who I am!
Mayor Tenma, it's okay now. GC will be safe just as soon as Mr. LaBelle is arrested. You are the Amazing Ninetales, aren't you? Eh? Oh, you again. You have quite the active imagination. Mayor Tenma is not the Amazing Ninetales.
Objection!
What do you mean? Well, has the alderman has the mayor admitted to it yet?
No, because you interrupt him!
And even if he did admit to such nonsense, I would reveal the truth behind Tenma Tarot right here and now.
What? Or you would dare reveal the secret?
My good friend the alderman told me all about it. But it wouldn't be good to expose the truth with these superstitions, now would it? The truth behind Tenma, what's he talking about? So go ahead, say it. Say, I am the Amazing Ninetales. I dare you.
Objection!
Wait, will somebody please explain what's going on here? Mayor Tenma will do anything to keep the truth behind Tenma Tarot a secret. A dark, terrible truth that has been kept secret by the village superstitions. And if the mayor admits to being the Amazing Ninetales, you'll expose the truth. Right? I won't have him walking free because of some nonsense you made up.
So what now, Justice Dono? Without the mayor's admission, your theory is as useless as you are in battle.
I'll show you who's useless. Apollo, don't you dare give up now. I had no intentions of giving up. Your Honor, I believe Mr. LaBelle's statements warrant a thorough cross-examination. After all, the true identity of the Amazing Ninetales is the cornerstone of this case.
You do have a point there. However, I'm late for golf. Please answer this court, Mr. LaBelle. Is the defendant the Amazing Ninetales or not?
Witness testimony. The Amazing Ninetales' true identity. The Amazing Ninetales' true identity is not Mayor Tenma. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense. But if he did admit to such nonsense, I will expose the truth behind Tenma Tarot right here and now. And that would bring ruination upon Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say. Talk about out of the pot and into the fire. At this rate, the mayor will be found guilty for sure.
Honestly speaking, if Mayor Damien Tenma is not the Amazing Ninetales, I'm afraid I don't see how the defense has much of a case here.
And let's just leave it at that, shall we? We all know Alderman QB was the amazing Ninetales anyway. I mean, that's how Ninetales Vale made a comeback. The Alderman was so popular. There's gotta be a hole in that testimony somewhere. But I don't even know where to start. Since we don't have any proof that the mayor is the amazing Ninetales, then we'll just have to get him to admit it himself. But if he admits it, LaBelle's going to expose the secret behind Tematero. Ah! We're so close, I know it!
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Okay. Cross-examination, start. The amazing Ninetales' true identity is not Mayor Tinma.
Hold it!
This whole case only makes sense if the mayor is the amazing Ninetales. I know you used his mask to create this illusion of a locked room murder.
Silence!
Nothing more than idle speculation. You've no evidence now, have you?
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle knows what this statue originally looked like. That means he had to have been in the Fox Chamber while it was still locked tight. Sorry, but I heard about the statue from Alderman QB. If you don't believe me, just ask him. Oh, but what's that? The Alderman's dead? Looks like the joke's on you, my sweetie little friend. Apollo, you mind if I wring his neck?
Wait in line, cause I'm going first.
Temper. Anyway. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense.
The only nonsense here in this court is you and your assertions.
Tisk. Such anger is terrible for the skin, you know. Beauty is like a flower that blooms forth from a serene heart.
Excuse me.
I wouldn't expect a wilted peasant like you to understand. Perhaps this fragrance will help the blossom within you bloom. You liked that, didn't you?
Enough jabbering about blossoms and whatnot. Get on with your testimony before I slice you into a bouquet of cut flowers.
Oh dear, please excuse me. As I was saying, the assertion of our witted attorney here is utter nonsense. But if he did admit to such nonsense,
You'd be arrested, wouldn't you?
yes, it's true. I would be sacrificed upon the altar of justice despite my innocence. But what a terrible loss that would be for the future of humankind's cosmetic needs. It's a tragedy that must be averted. Defend me if you understand this.
Silence!
The only terrible loss is the time wasted by your ceaseless yammering. If you would avert the tragedy awaiting you and that vexing visage of yours, then...
Yes, I know. Get on with my testimony. Anything else, suffice to say. Should the mayor admit to the defense's nonsense, I will make good on my threat and I will expose the truth behind Tematero right here and now.
Hold it!
And just how did you learn of this so-called truth behind Tematero?
Alderman QB told me all about it. The secret of the Forbidden Chamber and the truth behind Tematero.
Why would he share secrets like that with you, Mr. LaBelle?
Because of the Alderman's wife. I was looking after her while she was hospitalized. He appreciated it so much he shared the secrets with me. Wait, did he threaten the Alderman in addition to the mayor?
Don't tell me that's how he learned how to open the Forbidden Chamber.
Needless to say, I'm not above revealing the truth behind Tematero. And that would bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say.
Hold it!
Do not gaze upon Tamataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Isn't that what the village superstitions say? Exactly. Telling others what Tamataro looks like would reveal the truth. That's why the superstitions were written down in the first place. And ruin coming to the village if you free him. Is that a warning not to expose the truth? Bingo! And that truth is, Tenmataro is a great, greed-inspiring fortune. That's what the whole battle over the Nine-Tails Vale is all about. Tenmataro is a great fortune? Come to think of it. Only that's the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me all about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there. Could Tenmataro actually be Forbidden Chamber treasure? Telling the villagers that Tenmataro is a terrifying yokai is what has scared them away from the Forbidden Chamber and the treasure within. That's how the treasure's been kept secret all this time. Well. It seems our Ace Attorney here has uncovered the truth that must not be revealed. Mayor Tenma looks like he wants to keep the truth hidden as much as I do. Tragedy is doomed to repeat itself as long as Tenmataro exists. That's why the secret must be protected. As long as Tenmataro exists, huh? Mr. LaBelle, please add that statement to your testimony. Tragedy is doomed to repeat as long as Tenmataro exists. Yeah. That's not... Tenmataro isn't there anymore.
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle, what if Tenmataro no longer existed? Revealing the truth would no longer be an issue, would it? If Tenmataro no longer existed? What on earth are you talking about? Oh, apparently you haven't heard. Tenmataro no longer exists. But I guess you didn't get to do a thorough search after the key was taken from you. Because when we searched the Forbidden Chamber, there wasn't any treasure there. Really? Well, maybe you weren't looking in the right place. Sorry, but I have proof that Tenmataro no longer exists. Take a look at this figure.
What do we have here? It looks like some sort of creature.
We found this in the Forbidden Chamber. It's an Azuki Koso figure. The great thief, Azuki Koso, used to leave them at the scene of his crimes. Are you suggesting that Tenmataro has been stolen? Yep. Phineas Filch's grandfather, a master thief, was the culprit. And by that hideous moronic caretaker's grandfather, no less. No! My beautiful golden Tenmataro was... The greed inspired by Tenmataro can no longer bring ruin upon Nine-Tails Vale. Isn't that right, Mayor Tenma? The root of tragedy would indeed seem to be gone. In fact, I now recall the alderman revealing the secret to me on the day of our meeting. He must have been speaking of Tenmataro. For he said to me, the gold ingot was gone. The gold ingot? Oh, you mean the treasure that is Tenmataro's true form. Recall, if you will, the scroll in the Forbidden Chamber. Tenmataro is the yellowish object shown there. A giant gold ingot that my nomadic ancestors bestowed upon Nine-Tails Vale. In return for that gold, my ancestors did receive from Nine-Tails Vale land that would become Tenma Town. but drive the villagers mad with greed did that great fortune. Better was their greed-fueled battle. It was as if they were possessed. My ancestors' gold became as a curse upon their village, a curse of ruin. Thus it was that the yokai Temataro came to be. So Temataro and the village superstitions were merely fairy tales to scare people away.
Fairy tale or not, Tenmataro made quite the mess of things.
Yes, indeed. But there is no greater monster than a mortal man's lust for gold. Well, you know what they say, the love of money is the root of all evil. My ancestors did bring a terrible thing here to Ninetales Vale. A thing so terrible that Tenmataro, a monster just as terrible, had to be created to keep it a secret. Yet we have naught but love for the little village to which we owe our very existence. Tenma Town would never seek to take over Ninetales Vale in a merger.
Oh my, that was quite a shocking lesson in history. Mr. Mayor,
Now that we know Temataro no longer exists, are you ready to admit your secret? You are the Amazing Ninetales, aren't you? No! Don't do it! Please, no! Be gone, you demented demon! Ahem. Now, where was I? The Golden Lord of Yokai, the Amazing Ninetales, is indeed me! And that means Jinxie! Yeah. The man wearing the mayor's clothes who you saw collapsed in the Fox Chamber. Was he wearing the Amazing Ninetales mask? Uh-huh. That's what made me think it was Papa. He said he was going to reveal his secret identity to Alderman QB that day, so it really wasn't Papa I saw there, was it? It was Florent's idea from the start. He advised me to reveal my secret identity to the Alderman. Eesh, Rube Goldberg machines have less elaborate setups than LaBelle's scheme. You may rest easy now, little Jinxie. That monster's deception is true. Caw, 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 caw. The true facts behind this case have finally come to light. Mayor Tenma did not kill Alderman Kirby, but Florent LaBelle did. How dare you, peasant! No!
Silence.
Justice Dono, you should at least have a real blade in your hands if you decide to cross swords with me. Or have you mistaken this battlefield for a training ground?
What's this guy want now?
Evidence is like a razor-sharp blade that cuts through bone as though it were butter. But you have only blind guesses, a dull blade incapable of cutting even a cake. Yes, you there, Mr. Justice. After all, evidence is everything in a court of law.
They're right. Let's see some evidence. Of course, a perfect being like me wouldn't leave any incriminating evidence behind.
This is the final battle. Just as a samurai must live and die by the sword, you will live or die by the evidence you hold. My swift blade of judgment awaits. Now, present your conclusive evidence, or don't you have any?
Alcrat, do I have anything conclusive?
Sure.
Evidence, so I have evidence. You do? Of course. It's just the conclusive evidence we need, too.
I'm going to finally prove Mayor Tenma is innocent. Here comes justice!
What is this?
Let's review the facts.
The most damning evidence against the mayor was the crime scene itself. The mayor and the victim were the only two people found in the room. Also, we all thought the alderman was killed because he was the Amazing Ninetales. But as we now know, of course, we were way off. The Amazing Ninetales is really Mayor Damien Tenma. That's why when his daughter Jixie saw the Amazing Ninetales collapsed at the scene, she mistook him for her father. Those are the facts we have revealed. However, Mr. LaBelle asserts that he did not leave any evidence at the scene of the crime. But he didn't say anything about evidence outside the crime scene. Maybe he isn't as clever as he thinks he is. Does any of the evidence found outside the crime scene provide any clues? Okay. A clue inside the mask. Oh, I know, the Amazing Ninetales mask. It was found washed up along the river. Okay, what sort of clue does the mask hold? White hair. Oh! LaBelle's real hair color is white. Must be. And what about the hair left in the mask? Who does it belong to? Because the hair dye washes off in water. Oh, right, that hair is Florent LaBelle's. Yes, now that's what I call conclusive evidence.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have any conclusive evidence to present to this court?
Wait, didn't you hear any of that?
Nope, you were just standing there with your eyes closed for like a full minute and a half.
Oh. Yeah, of course I do. Observe this mask, if you will.
That mask? How's that conclusive evidence?
It's not the mask itself, but the white hair inside it. We originally thought it belonged to Alderman Rex Cubey.
Yes, but the Amazing Ninetales, as we now know, is Mayor Tenma, so...
That is correct. So the question is, whose hair could this be? And the answer to that is the last person to have worn it before it was discarded. That would be you, Mr. Florent LaBelle. What are you talking about? I never had hideous white hair like that.
Silence.
It would appear your coup de grace failed to hit its mark. This freakish fop is not the white hair type, because he's busy being one ludicrously garish color or another.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Blackwell, it's you who has made a fatal error.
What?
Remember where this mask was found? It washed up by the side of the river. With that in mind, this last piece of evidence will solve all the remaining riddles.
Take that!
That's...
What's that?
This is Mr. LaBelle's own private brand of hair color. It washes out with just water. The court will also recall that the Amazing Ninetales mask washed up alongside washed up along the side of the village river with white hair inside it.
What's this? Are you saying that preening peacock's hair color is...
That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. LaBelle's hair color is a freaky work of fiction. But thanks to the river flowing through Ninetales Vale, we now have a real-life expose. The white hair in this mask is conclusive evidence proving you're the real killer. A DNA test is all we need to prove it, and we both know we'll get a match. Admit it. Florent LaBelle, you were the one who killed Alderman Rex Cubey. You peasant! How dare you! my profane my beauty. I'm going to exhibit it. My makeup. Hello, this is LaBelle. What? The project is off? This is LaBelle. The sponsors have pulled out. LaBelle speaking. I'm fired? You mean I'm no longer Mayor Tenma's aide? Hello, this is LaBelle. What? There's a stratospheric damages claim against me? $100 million? I'm finished. Washed up. Stick a fork in me. I'm done.
This is preposterous. I, Simon Blackwell, defeated? Order in the court.
Well then.
Oh, this is quite the unexpected outcome. I must hand it to you, Mr. Justice. You really turned this case on its head, just like that other lawyer. What's his name? Phoenix Wright.
Well, that was a compliment, right?
Prosecutor Blackwell, what have you done with Florent LaBelle?
The defaced man has withered like a flower without water. One of the officers is currently tending to him with a sprinkler.
Wouldn't that just wash even more of his makeup off?
Allow me to explain the actions of the guilty party in detail. The motive, of course, was to steal the gold ingot known as Tenma Taro. However, few are allowed into the manor due to its cultural ties to Ninetales Vale. LaBelle set in motion plans to gain access to the manor and the gold within via the merger. But the efforts of the amazing Ninetales saw those plans come to a halt. And thus, LaBelle murdered the alderman and attempted to pin the blame on Mayor Tenma.
I see, but what I still can't comprehend is why would he go after the gold in the first place? Mr. LaBelle doesn't look like someone who is in need of financial aid.
LaBelle hid his past well, much like he hid his beauty with makeup. He's mired in debt. Debt due to pouring money into a brand only he could love. Which is why he sought the gold with such voracity.
Too bad for him. Someone else has gotten to it first anyway.
I see. Very well then. I believe it's time I declared a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma, not guilty.
Yay! Woo! Ah! Yay! We won.
Court is adjourned.
April 19th, 1:23 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 4, 3.
That was some seriously good lawyering, Apollo. Even I didn't see that coming.
Just got lucky, I guess.
You banished Timatero from Ninetales Vale like you were some kind of exorcist.
There's still one thing I don't understand. How come Mr. LaBelle didn't kill Mayor Tenma too? He could have set it up so the mayor murdered the alderman, then died from a counterattack. That would have removed at least one possible fly from the ointment.
I was wondering about that too. But I have a hunch LaBelle was biding his time. He was planning on exposing the Amazing Ninetales' true identity himself.
But why?
Because the mayor was the Amazing Ninetales. Had LaBelle succeeded in framing Mayor Tenma for the alderman's murder, the wrestler's popularity would have plummeted once his identity was revealed.
Oh, I get it. If the Amazing Ninetales was just killed, he'd die a hero. But if he was proved a villain, his fans would abandon him, making the merger that much easier.
Right. Then when the merger was complete and everything cooled down, he'd be able to search the Forbidden Chamber at his leisure.
What an insanely intricate plot.
Caw, 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 caw! A most excellent job clearing my name. A feat worthy of the Demon Lord's approval.
Why are you acting like Timotaro again?
Let this be of no concern to you.
How can it not concern me? Timotaro, be gone!
Duh! Jinxie, seems like ages since I've laid eyes on you.
Papa, you finally back.
Yes, it would seem Tenmataro is no match for you.
I'm not scared of that silly yokai anymore. Oh, your father's a free man now, Jinxie. Isn't that great? Thank you for all you've done. Seeing you guys in action, it made me feel like I don't have to be afraid anymore. Wait, is Jinxie actually smiling?
This is all thanks to you two. Too bad the Amazing Ninetales will have to retire, though.
Aw, how come?
Once everyone hears I'm the Amazing Ninetales, my fan base will nosedive. After all, I'm not the most popular of people. Another reason for my secret identity. I don't see how I could possibly continue.
I think you've misjudged yourself. Take a look outside.
Say, now that you mention it, what's all that noise out there?
A big crowd gathered outside the courthouse once the news broke. Seems they want to get a glimpse of Mayor Damien Tenma, the man behind the mask, and to root for your return to the wrestling ring.
Rooting? For me? But I thought I was nothing more than a malefactor in their eyes.
The only one who really matters is Jinxie. Show her how cool you really are. Yeah, you're the coolest when you're out there fighting in the ring, Papa.
Jinxie.
Here, I think you'll be needing this.
Take that!
Thank you. Now, if you would excuse me. I don't want to keep my fans waiting.
Yay! Oh.
Ninetales Vale forever!
Oh, that was cute. I sure hope they can settle the problems between Timotaro and Ninetales Vale.
Me too. I'm sure they'll be fine. After all, the blackmailer/killer is behind bars, and the merger's no longer an issue. Plus, the Amazing Ninetales is obviously still a hit, and I suspect Ninetales Vale will be too.
And it's all because we believed on our client, just like you said. Okay, people. Now that we've got that one in the bag, let's go get something to eat. I'm starving. Sounds good. I've been so nervous I haven't eaten since yesterday. I better keep eating, Apollo, or you might have to start looking up at me. Huh? I'm definitely past my growth phase, and you should be about past yours, too. Are you kidding me? I'm just getting started. Ready or not, it's face stuffing time! Keep eating like that, and the only direction you'll grow is sideways. Very funny. But I've got a hollow leg. I can eat as much as I want without getting an ounce. Really? Wow, can't wait to see this. Calories? Ha! Let them just try to stick on me.
All right, already, you two, let's get going before the old man closes shop. Odoon's Noodles isn't an all-night stand, you know.
I'm with Mr. Wright. Let's go. I've been waiting to have a bowl from there ever since Mr. Wright told me about him. Well, what are we waiting for?
The noodles are on me today, so I expect some serious eating from you two.
Yay! Thanks, boss. I won't let you down.
Athena has no idea what she's getting into. Mr. Eldoon's noodles are so hot and salty, 2 bowls would kill a man.
That was our first case together, and it felt like nothing could bring us down after that. The dark age of the law seemed so distant, so irrelevant to our small, cozy office. But little did I know that it had been lurking all along, right there behind us. The first time it made itself known was during the murder at Themis Legal Academy. That case would mark the twilight before the dark, cold night that was to come. The end. To the outro. Okay, so that was twisty as hell. With very few exceptions, I couldn't see where things were going until the game took me there. Or maybe a few moments before. So that's how Athena joined the party. Kind of sounds like the next case will be a flashback too, given the way she was talking about the dark age of the law and all that. That doesn't make much sense though, because I'm almost certain she said that the first trial of the game was only her second trial and this was her first. Maybe she's not involved in the next one? Oh, you know what? I'll bet our next case is the one that ended with the courtroom exploding. In the meantime, up here's a playlist of my Persona 3 portable playthrough, and down here is a video that YouTube recommends. Also, if you'd like to help support a fuzzy little monster and get videos a week early, we have channel memberships for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!